We sitting here, I supposed to be the franchise player, and we in here talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We ain't talking about the game. What are we talking about? We talking about practice, man.
Knocked away by Cheeks and a steal. Cheeks will use up the clock. Goes Malone. And that may do it. And Julius has his ring. Moses Malone did what Philadelphia wanted him to do. The champions of the NBA 1982-83.
What's good, y'all? We back. I don't know what episode it is, but you already know what it is. It's FoFoFo podcast. And as you can see, I've been saying it, said it before this season. You can see us, man, trying something new with the Zoom. Got the councilman in the building. Got my man 215 Mike. Heavy
What's good, everybody?
Tonight, man. Heavy Sixers talk. We getting right into it. I'm excited. You could probably tell. We had a little pre-show. We getting the things together. But gentlemen, how y'all feeling tonight?
I'm good, man.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm excited to talk Sixers. We can jump right into it.
Yeah. So we are less than maybe 24 hours removed from Ben Simmons putting up a career game. And I got to get into it with Ben because, you know, Ben is hot topic Philadelphia stuff. Whenever you talk Philadelphia, you got to talk Sixers. Whenever you talk Sixers, you got to talk Ben and you got to talk JoJo. JoJo's been a foregone conclusion since the start of the season. He's probably 1-2 in MVP talks. So it's not really much to say there. He's been keeping it level. Ben, however, like I've been saying, I think since the last time I talked to maybe both of y'all, since that Celtics game, when he took over in the fourth, I think it was the first game after Harden got traded, so he was clear of trade rumors, of all of that stuff. I've seen a new Ben Simmons. Mike, I know you were on episode 1 and you were saying, look, I don't need the jump shot from Ben. I need Ben to be aggressive and I need Ben to hit free throws.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's it.
And I have been saying I've seen a new Ben Simmons. I've seen him turn the corner. I've seen this guy be that aggressive guy. As awkward as it may look, as the shot attempts may be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Good. But the aggression that people are looking for, the tenacity that people are looking for, the not settling that people are looking for, I think is growing at a rapid pace. I would even argue. So I'm going to open up the floor to you guys. Let me know what y'all say.
Okay. Go first, Mike.
All right, I'll go. Yeah, yeah, you know how I feel. You know, like I said, that's all I was asking for. Like, just be the man, the grown man that I know you are. You know what I'm saying? All them pickup runs and all that stuff we were saying. Even though, like I said, he not shooting, but I don't need it. It's really just the mentality that he had. Like, it was from last game, it was from tip off. It was like, y'all can't do nothing with me.
Right.
That's all I want. And he made almost what he had. We went to the line almost 12, 13 times or something like that.
Yep.
But and was hitting them. He was making his free throws. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's just that mentality. Yep. You know, and I appreciated it. Like it was we seen him without Embiid before, and we didn't get that. You know what I mean? So to see how he performed that night now, that's all I'm asking for, and just give it to us consistently, because him playing like that, that's going to give us more wins. We're going to get more wins. You know what I mean? Yeah. I understand it might have took away from the shooters a little bit, but at the same time, it's just that we just need that mentality from Ben. And I'll get into my other thing about him after councilman gets.
Right. We got the councilman going in and out. You know how busy he is, but when he tell us.
Yeah, I think for me, when I watched the two most impressive things was because I honestly, Ben had a really good first quarter, but after that, his percentage dropped a little bit. So he probably shot maybe 8 for 19 or something like that after the first quarter, because he started the game hitting the first 7 for 7. So he finished the game shooting, north of 50%. But the two most impressive things for me was, number one, the fact that he actually took 26 shot attempts, on top of the fact that he also took 13 free throws. So, for him to shoot 12 for 13 from the free throw line, I think is significant. I think that speaks to his growth and development as a player. And I think that is something that we could point to his progress. I do think that the decision making down the stretch was definitely a little suspect, because he was looking to be more of a scorer which is a role he traditionally doesn't have. He don't really wear that hat. But overall, again, I think it was an impressive game, and I agree with you, Tone. I think that he's turned the corner since that Boston game. We talked about that on the last podcast, and I think he's been intentionally aggressive as it relates to trying to score the ball.
Yeah. I see something different, man. Like I said, he's going to the hole. He's diming off. He's being very aggressive. I know we all seen the numbers that we only shoot sub 30% when he's not on the floor from three.
Right.
When he's on the floor, even though he's not the one taking and making the threes, we are shooting it at a 40% clip when he's on the floor facilitating the ball. So these are all things that I've seen, that we've all seen, flashes, things that, they say things that don't come up in the stat sheet. But as it is 2021, and you got guys like Bleacher Report and other people, they coming up with new stats every day. So a lot of these things are showing up in the stat sheet these days. It's a matter of whether you care about it or not, I think. You know what I mean? As we move away from what I think are traditional stats, I know we put a lot in PER now. That's not something that's traditionally been around since I've been playing the game for the last 20 years. You know what I'm saying? But it is something we hang our hat a lot on. Analytics, all of those. His style of basketball is really on the side of that. And I enjoy watching him play, man. I enjoy watching this new game. Like I always say, and I always compare it to, and I have to because repetition is my thing. But when you have a game where guys are shooting the three at the clip that they are, you know what I mean, in 2021, then I feel like the other end of the spectrum is you might see people who can really get it in, you know what I mean, and not be shooting the ball at all, can really put their hands on the game, doing everything and making those things that historically haven't shown up in the stat sheet, make them come up and be visible to the casual fan. So I would say, if you're not a Ben Simmons fan, if you haven't been watching, you watch this podcast, please start tuning in because it's some real great stuff. All-star.
Man can play, man.
How do y'all feel about Ben as an all-star?
Well, I'm kind of because my take on him too is like, all right. So like you said, we was on the episode and what I was asking for from him, just to play aggressive, make free throws. And I kind of feel like that's why I said I'm still going watching. I'm still going watching. But I kind of feel like, are you giving me this now for this selection and for whatever incentives that might come with it? Because it clearly shows that, and I'm not saying you got to score 40,
right?
But me personally, Ben Simmons can average 20. He can average 20. That man can average a triple double. Honestly, he can average a triple double. You know what I'm saying? So it's like in the beginning, it was just no aggressiveness. And it's not even his 13 or whatever he was getting. It was just no aggressiveness. He didn't look like the career Ben we just watched, is what I'm saying. And I just feel like now when those first fan votes came out for the All-Star selection, he was on there. Mm-hmm. He was at the bottom of it, but he was on there.
Right.
Second returns came out, he was off of it. So we started to see now a different Ben. So it just makes me go like, bro, you doing this for a selection and whatever incentive it might come with, you know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of actually on the side of rooting for. I don't want him to make it. I don't want him to make it because I almost feel like it might be necessary for you to see like whatever high horse or whatever, however you feel about the game or, wherever you think you are, or you feel like, I do, like they say, he does a lot of the other stuff, so well. But me personally, it's like, that doesn't take away from you not being able to score when I know that you can. You see what I'm saying? Like, so, that's just something that but I'm not going, discredit him for that game in the same time, because I still was impressed by it and I appreciated it. But I'm just saying, I'm watching him closer now just to see if you make this All-Star game, do we continue to get this, Ben? Or are you going to slack back? You know what I'm saying? Or are you going to slack back off now because you done checked off the incentive already? So, that's just my look at it.
Ben Simmons, the All-Star. Zeke, what do you think?
No. And I'm just going by names, right? So if you're putting them as a guard, you're talking about Bradley Beal, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Jaylen Brown, Trae Young, And then after that, it gets a little suspect. Maybe him over Westbrook, maybe him over Zach LaVine. Then if you're talking about him as a forward, you're talking about front court, I guess is what they're calling it now. And you're looking at Durant, Greek Freak, Embiid, Tatum. I think Jimmy Butler earned a spot just based on, the bubble performance. I think that he has a spot. The boy Sabonis is in the rankings as far as all-star voting, but I wouldn't go with him. But I do think Jeremy Grant and Julius Randle both having good seasons. Knicks fighting for one of those playing spots. Clearly, Detroit's not going to be in the mix at all. But either way, I think it's a tough. I think I agree with Mike. He's having a good stretch. And if you want to give the Sixers a second spot because of the record being in first place, which I get, other teams do it. So I would want my team to get that advantage as well, too. I think it actually goes to Tobias Harris before Ben. If we're going based on play and performance this season, if we're going by name and star power and all that, well, yeah, of course, Ben is the bigger name. He's traditionally an all-star. But I think if we're talking about numbers and performance this season and consistently since the start of the season to now, which, again, in all fairness, is about 20, 25 games, depending on COVID and different teams. That's my opinion. So I would say no. If he gets it, I'll be happy. But if I were creating my list as of today, I just don't think it's fair to put him on a list just because he's decided to play well. And even in all that I mentioned, it's probably a guard and a forward that I didn't remember, right? Like I didn't say nothing about Van Fleet and Lowry in Toronto.
Yeah. Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah.
And I didn't say, Brogdon, and I didn't say anything about Siakam in Toronto as well, too. So it's people who've been playing consistent all year that makes it a tougher argument for Ben in my mind than Tobias. And, we as Sixers fans know he plays good D, and everything that he does isn't going to show up in the stat sheet. But there's no way he can start off the season averaging 12 points a game in year 4 when under the microscope and pressure that he's in. We can't reward that with an all-star appearance, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Right. All right, then moving right along. Are y'all putting any stock into Embiid's resting this year? I know that it's not so much as it's being reported as it's minute management as far as versus actual things being behind it. Like we were talking pre-show, they saying this is back. They saying this is knees some nights. Is that a result of them not wanting to have so much focus on it being minute restrictions? Are they just coming with a reason for players sitting out just so it's no reason? Or do y'all think
I'm not sure, Tom, but what I will say is that I am happy with the increase in minutes. Like, so I pay attention a lot to player rotation, and most coaches they tend to sub players at the same time marker every game unless there's foul trouble or injury. So, for example, one of my favorites is Steph Curry, right? Like, so for a fact when you watch the Warriors play, Steph's going to play the whole first quarter, right? Mm-hmm. Then to start that second quarter, they're going to come up with that backup point guard. This year, I think it's Brad Wanamaker, Philly guy. That person will play about 6 minutes, and then about 6 minutes into the second quarter, Steph will come in, and they kind of repeat that pattern. Doc, Brett did it a little bit with Embiid too. I'm not going to deny that, but Doc does it as well, and Doc's minute restrictions just don't exist in a way that they did before. So Embiid, most of the time, in a 12-minute quarter, where normally he would probably play the first 6 minutes, then they would spell him, then he would come back in for maybe like the last 3 to close it out. Now he's playing the first 10 minutes, and that sub for him isn't coming in until about the 2 or 3 minute marker. And overall, his rotation is slightly different, and he's playing more minutes per game. So because he's playing an increased number of minutes per game, and we haven't really seen a whole lot of sitting, right? Like they're not saying he's sitting because of a back-to-back or anything like that. I'm fine with the way that the leadership has managed his minutes thus far, because I feel like they're giving him more of a leash to kind of do things that we haven't seen as it relates to the amount of minutes he's playing and his conditioning as well, too. I think this is the best condition I've ever seen him be.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah. I mean, I agree a lot with what Councilman just said. And also, too, I mean, we do got to factor in, too, like, he's getting like we're really going through him. Like the offense, like he's really getting, you know what I mean? Doc is like, you can't be stopped, go straight to Embiid. Like it's going through him. So, you know, he could be needing, you know, this rest, as I was kind of saying before, you know, I just think even with like that Utah game, like when it was like Doc and them, they were saying maybe like not even an hour before the game was going to start, it was like Doc was like, Embiid's playing. And then, you know, there's the picture surfacing around where he's at the court and got got his backside all out.
Right.
It's like, oh, he's not playing. So, you know what I mean? He probably do gotta, you know, gotta get his little rest here and there. Cause like I said, he's definitely getting a heavier workload this year. And his numbers and stuff is showing it. So
yeah. To Embiid's point, I will say that like we've been calling for, even if, and I know the councilman, because he's a big basketball guy, he coaches, and a lot of this is strategy, but even if he's not shooting, he's touching the ball every single possession this year. He's touching the ball. It's just to get him a literal touch. They gotta see me touch this, and then we can get stuff going. So yeah, man. I don't put any stock into it either. That's what I was gonna say. I think that we recognize the moment, we recognize what we have here, and I think more so than Embiid proving himself to us as the fans, which we would be calling for in past years. You know what I'm saying? Embiid, the reason why we can't do good in the playoffs is because you're not training yourself for it all year round. You sit down, you do that.
right.
I think all of that noise is kind of silenced with what he's been doing when he's there. We understand what it is, and now it's more of a all right, big fella, we need you for the playoffs. You know what I mean? That kind of feel. At least that's how I'm looking at it. You know what I mean? And that's I'm for it, and I will say that I'm for it. I'm not somebody who's a fanatic who needs to see Embiid in there 72 straight games, killing everybody, so that I feel good within my conversations the day after. I don't need that. I think that he's done, like I said, everything that he need to so far in this young season to let you know what type accord he's on, what kind of plan he's on, what kind of mission he's on. And like I said, when you have, and I don't agree with him a lot, but it is peculiar because we are a city like Philadelphia. We're not in the spotlight like that. But when you got the talking heads saying it, when you got Kenny Smith and you got these guys out here who consider themselves pundits, who the basketball culture, who the basketball game considers pundits, and they're saying, hey, this dude Embiid, he's unstoppable, and this is the guy that we've been asking for. When they're saying it night in and night out, then I think it's something to be noticed there. So, big kudos to Embiid. We know that he is the unequivocal all-star. No need to get that conversation.
Easy.
Okay. He'll be a starter, and I hope that his team does win at the end because he was going hard. And I do hope it's Kobe rules. So I'll segue real fast because it's only one day. We don't need to spend much time on it, and I'll get your guys' thoughts on the All-Star game activities. I did read something saying that it is going to be one day. They're going to start off with a little skills competition. A little whatever happens. I don't know if it's gonna be I don't think it's gonna be a rookie sophomore game or anything like that.
Skills,
skills and
3-point.
Skills and 3-point. They'll start the All-Star game. Halftime of the All-Star game, I think they'll have the dunk contest, and then they'll finish off the All-Star game. Bada bang, bada boom. Everything in one day.
A long day.
A long day.
That's what it sounds like.
It's funny because as we're in this pandemic nature, a lot of the NBA on the highest level seems like it reverts back to what we probably experienced in AAU and camp culture. You know what I'm saying? Trying to stuff everything into one day or a couple days. So just your guys' thoughts on the All-Star game. I didn't need one at all. I know we talked a little bit about the players saying that they wanted to use it for rest, vacation, getting with the family since y'all, you know what I mean, knocking things down. So open up the floor for you guys.
Yeah, I didn't need one either. You know, I wasn't, like you said, it's already, you still got the contact tracing that's going on. We already got 25 games or something that's been postponed already.
I'm about to say, not to cut you off, but I just saw the Mavericks and the Hornets and a couple other teams have to postpone multiple games as of today.
Yeah, so the Mavericks games for tomorrow, there's them versus the Pistons. They're postponing that game due to the weather, which is something kind of new. But you know, those type of areas in the states, like they don't, when they get any kind of weather, it's like Atlanta. They get any kind of snow, everything shuts down. It's like, so I mean, you know, that's safety. And then the Hornets have to postpone 2 games. Spurs have to postpone 3 because they got 4. Yeah, they got 4 cases of corona. So Spurs is really they the ones jerking wreck right now.
Right.
But yeah, back to what was I saying about the All-Star
game? Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we have it? Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like I said, we having all that. So it's kind of, even though I trust like the players, because the players is obviously the one that they fought for this. Like Chris Paul, like supposedly he's the one that actually fought for it. Right. So it was kind of interesting to see the LeBron like, oh, I don't care for it, and Chris Paul actually fighting for it, which was kind of, that was kind of interesting to see. But I just feel like if they fighting for it the way they are, I do believe like they're gonna be careful as much as possible. Like I don't got them going there and really like treating it like All-Star weekend. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have that. But I'm also in the lane of I didn't need it as well, just because of everything that's going on. Now they're saying you can bring like a certain number of family members, and you know what I mean? It's a lot.
So that's where it starts.
Yeah, so it's just you can't control everybody. Right. You know what I mean? Even though, but I don't know. I'm going to tune in though. I'll tell you that. I'm definitely going to tune in.
Yeah, I think it's a bad idea. No question about it. I think it's extremely dangerous. First thing is, I think it's a bad idea to put all the league superstars in one place during a pandemic, because if one person is exposed, the whole league, for the most part, as far as like prolific players, would be shut down. Right. So I think that part is extremely risky, and I don't know why they will put all the league players in one place at one time. I also think different teams have been showing a different level of responsibility. So, for example, the Lakers, right? Like I haven't heard a peep, a case, a test, inconclusive. Bron got them boys whipped in tight shape, and they're not messing up the tail end of his prime. So, they can't control, what James Harden decides to do in Atlanta that weekend, or Kyrie, or Steph Curry, or anybody else. You just don't know what people are going to do. And the decisions that they normally make would impact their team and the team that they're playing against that day, because of how frequently they're required to test and because of contact tracing purposes. If someone makes a bad decision that leads to them interacting with somebody that exposes them to COVID, similar to what we've seen with KD, where he went in the game and then he had to get pulled out the game, it could shut the whole league down. So I think it makes absolute no sense. I think it's ridiculous to think that guys are going to convene in Atlanta and not convene off the court in some capacity. Bringing the family is even worse of an idea, because now their behavior is going to, directly be involved with the contact tracing with the players, which is involved with, again, all the best players in the league. So I'm not quite sure why the league made this decision. I think that they could have thought of innovative and creative things to kind of celebrate people who actually make it to the All-Star team and who get voted in on the All-Star team. But to have an actual game, especially only one day of festivities, I think is not really reflective of the responsible decisions that we've seen the NBA make surrounding coronavirus. Now, look, they may pull it off and nothing happens and nothing goes wrong. And, as an NBA fan, that's what I hope happens. But I just think that the ends do not justify the means. The risk is way higher than the reward of the actual game and event. It's not even that prestigious of a game. We've seen the Kobe rules make it a dope game, but I think with some of the players, similar to what Mike talked about, being on the side of LeBron, as far as like there shouldn't be a game. Even Giannis said there shouldn't be a game. I don't know what incentivizes them to play hard in a game that they don't think should be happening.
Yeah. No, that is true. And before you go, Tom, I remember I put up today about the mayor, the mayor of Atlanta. She's actually put out like, for people to not really like travel, that for the actual All-Star Day, the event, saying like it's like a made for TV event, so she doesn't really want people trying to fly in, and she's also asking that promoters and club owners, they don't host any party events and all that type of stuff, which is like, who's going, like nobody's
right.
Yeah,
and I think And I think that's the other coin of it. Like everything that you guys are saying are correct of the league politics and everything that's going on there to protect their product. But they also are, I think, being irresponsible in this point and not thinking about the trickle down effect. Everything you're saying, Mike, it's like if the NBA is saying it's okay to have an all-star game, then it's gotta be okay to have our city lit. It's gotta be okay to and to choose it in a city like Atlanta anyway, a city that's business as usual as far as those kind of things, is kind of peculiar. You know what I mean? So, but I do want to piggyback off something that the councilman said. Um, uh, this is kind of inconsistent with the way that the NBA has been handling things.
Yeah.
In the past, they've kind of been the leader in responsibility, the leader in, sacrifice and doing things the right way during this corona pandemic, and everything else is going on. But I also want to bring up another thing that I thought was inconsistent with what the NBA has been kind of doing, at least for a conversation, and that's this whole Mark Cuban thing. He hasn't been playing the national anthem, I think, since the beginning of the season, or at some point in the season, for obvious reasons. The whole thing with Kaepernick and the NFL, that exposed a lot of things about our history here in America and how things are made and the sentiment of people at the time when things are made that we consider time-honored tradition and keep going with today. And with that information, armed with that information, Mark Cuban kind of made a decision and say, hey, the majority of my players are black, have brown skin, and are going through this struggle. I think for the time being, I'm going to table this national anthem. It's been such a big issue in recently in sports, and not only the issue, but the flag, and is it for the cops, the troops? Is this for was the anthem for black people? Is it derogatory towards black people? So you know what? Hey, I'm not going to play it. The NBA actually came in and said, hey, it's actually mandatory for everybody to play the national anthem. So it's like a league that was so, for me at least, and this is me. I don't know if this is anybody else's opinion, but a league that was so open, that is so open. I don't even want to say was a league that is so open, that is so trend setting, that is so understanding when it comes to civil rights issues, when it comes to health issues with the pandemic, all around. And that's why I put all of this in the same boat, because it seems like it doesn't matter who you are or how you come, the NBA kind of hears you out. I don't know. Yeah,
Sounds
something big to start.
sounds like a
I know, and that's what we're gonna talk about. You know what I mean? But that's just
that's
how
what
I see it. It's like it's one of those things. Like it's decision time. But y'all thoughts?
yeah, that's what I mean. That's what it sounds like. It just sounds like it's a they already losing. They're losing in a sense of the fans not being in the building.
Right.
I would assume also, I'm sure the ratings aren't as, as what they once were.
Absolutely.
So even with this all-star thing as well, like, I think it also fits into, this. It's like they're trying to chase somewhere to get something back. Like that's That's what it feels like. It's like we can lose something, but it's
Right.
like we gotta chase something, and get something back. So I kind of feel like that. It's like if we allow that, the not playing national anthem now you have these patriotic people now you might lose more viewers and more, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, hold on, let's not get too into the negative, you know what I mean? Right. And it's like, I just feel like they probably trying to find a way to chase, but like y'all said, it's kind of out their character, because the NBA it's like they was backing it. They was backing,
like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, at least to me, that decision,
brotherhood.
Before I let Zeke go, it just seems that, just to be clear, that decision was kind of finite. You know what I mean? Everything else is kind of like, it's really up for negotiation. Whenever it's an issue or it seems like it's something that's really an issue in the NBA, they're willing to come to the table and talk with you. At least. But that was kind of like finite. But Councilman, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I didn't have much to add. Just they got it wrong on this one.
Yeah,
they got it wrong.
Yeah.
And but I mean, since we giving kudos to Mark Cuban, man, even just that the stunt he did with Delonte West, like he really like brought that man back to, like life again. You know what I'm saying? And I heard he even he like got back with his mom, everything. Like, right. So he got Delonte on a great path, and I just feel like he's just one of them. Like, he just give me a Pat Croce feel. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's not too many owners like he comes off loyal. Look at how he treated Dirk.
Mark Cuban made sure that all his staff, vendors, and everything inside of that building got paid all through the pandemic. And the thing I was saying pre-show, he's not standing on a soapbox or waving a flag like notice me. He's doing it real quiet, keeping it going, business as usual, moving like Mark Cuban does.
He behind the bench at the games. He behind the bench, the players. He just got Dirk Nowitzki on the floor. You know what I mean? He just different, man. He just different. He definitely needs to be like saluted.
Yeah, so I definitely give some kudos out to Mark Cuban in the way he's been carrying things through all this turmoil that we going through.
Yeah.
Talking more of NBA, but not on the court. Draymond had a very fiery post game last night with the media over there in Golden State. Just shine some light on some more things that people probably don't think about. The everyday casual fan probably doesn't think about, but the player probably thinks about often. And I think it was real peculiar. He was talking to the fact that I think last night Andre Drummond was benched. If you follow this basketball thing, like I know us three follow, he's in heavy trade talks, heavy trade rumors. And this is where NBA sports in general, kind of the ugly side for it, the side that we don't talk about a lot. It gets kind of objective to me. Whereas you kind of move from a person, a player, to kind of goods. And if you're going to be traded, I want to trade you to another team for your highest value. I kind of don't want to damage my goods. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much that player wants to play or however, he's involuntarily benched, put in street clothes, and he's expected to act professional. He's expected to not make a stink. If he does, he's probably normally labeled a cancer, outspoken, or somebody that you probably don't want to deal with business-wise. You know what I mean? And in the same token, all of this is happening because the team doesn't want him for whatever reason. The team thinks that they think, and I say that because I see it plain as day, but they think that they're going in a diplomatic way of really saying, I don't want these goods anymore. This player is not good enough, or he doesn't fit for whatever reason in my team. And they kind of make that public and put him on the market. Now, the flip side of that is when players are giving their all to a team, doing what they believe is all they can do, and they're tired of a situation, and they publicly make a gripe, because a lot of times that's the only way that they can even get out of a situation. Because if they're quiet, or if they are, you know what I'm saying, going with the flow, and I'll use Bradley Beal as an example. He's somebody in this situation where us looking at it, we've seen this situation a lot of times. He's probably somebody who should be waving his flag and making some noise to get himself out of there, but he's playing loyal. He's playing the politics. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the NBA likes. But then I also take a James Harden. James Harden, you know what I mean? Whether right or wrong or indifferent, he exercises right. He exercises freedom of speech to say that, hey, this situation isn't working for me. No disrespect to the guys around, even though his actions might not have said that. His words did. He tried to do it like the NBA does it. He did it diplomatic. He said it. You know what I mean? I just think everything that I just think that I've spent my time here. When a player does that, like I said, he's labeled a cancer. Guys really don't want to mess with him. Management really don't want to mess with him. You know what I mean? Hard to deal with. He has these stigmas attached to him. And Draymond was just speaking about and saying it needs to be a little bit more equality on both sides. That's not fair. You know what I mean? Especially when we come out here, we practice like we do. We meet these public appearances like we do. We do everything in the name of the league to keep this brand going. In our times of need, in our times of struggle, we should be showing a little bit more respect, more respect, a little bit more leeway. So what is your thoughts on that?
Go, Councilman. Yes. I mean, I wasn't mad at Draymond. You know, that's right up his alley. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's right up Draymond alley. Like, he gonna voice how he feel. I do appreciate the fact how he, took up for his fellow NBA brothers. I definitely appreciated that. As far as the drumming thing, believe it or not, I only know of the one side. I don't know of anything of Drummond side. Does Drummond want to leave? You know what I mean? And that's just not out yet, just because he didn't. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
exactly.
Yeah. So it's kind of hard for me to kind of like, I mean, Draymond could know, you know, he might have more insight. I'm just saying, for us, it's kind of hard for me to really dig deep into that situation. But I do agree with him about, like he said, we watched Harrison Barnes get pulled off the bench during the game because he got traded. You can't go back in no more. You're traded. DeMarcus Cousins during the interview, he found out he was being traded during the interview. Right. You know what I mean? We have a bunch of players that have been traded and they found out through social media. You know what I mean? Like, so though, as far as that, in that aspect, like I definitely agree with Draymond in that, but I don't know the other side for the Drummond situation to really dig deep into it. You know what I mean? To even really know how he's really being treated. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe, like, just the player that Drummond is, me personally, I don't even see why he would want to be there in Cleveland. Right. You know what I mean? Like, the type of player he is, like, he's not like Jared Allen is perfect for them. Like, that's perfect for them. Up and coming player. He has a chance to grow with, you know what I mean? Drummond kind of like, he's past that now a little bit. So I think this is actually doing him good. Hey, you know, he don't need to play no more. Mm-hmm. We're gonna find out what we can do for him. Because I mean, you don't want to risk injury either. Because now, if I'm Drummond and I do want to leave and I get hurt, that can potentially mess up your chances as well. You know what I mean? So that's just the other side of it. Like I'm saying, like I don't really know too much on the Drummond side to really go at the organization as well. You know what I mean? So that's all.
I do think the awkward moments and the embarrassment of it is something that what Draymond was really speaking about more than just the stock of the player. I think he used Harden as an example of a player trying to exercise their right and use their voice to be able to change their situation like teams want to do as far as changing their situation. I think what his biggest concern was how the perception is different for the player when they communicate their concern compared to the team when they do. And it's a traditional example of what we see in this country as far as, you know, big business and workers. And I think what Draymond did was he echoed the voice of millionaires by putting them in the same status as the average everyday working class person. And I think that's why a lot of people was feeling what he said, because in some level we can put ourselves in his shoes and for a second, you know, have the same level of empathy that millionaires have as it relates to not being treated fairly in the workplace.
But just scale it. But just the money don't matter to me, because just scale it. Because who's he? If I'm a thousandaire and I'm getting mad at 100,000aire who's my boss or whatever, and those are the people who I'm at work, like you said, he's echoing the working person, and those are the people. Or if I'm a thousandaire and I'm getting mad at a millionaire, Draymond is in essence a millionaire with gripes against billion and trillionaires. So if you scale it, it makes sense. The million shouldn't make sense. You know what I mean? That argument.
But Tony, you're critical.
Like, just scale it.
You're a critical thinker in a way that the average person isn't. So that's right, automatically how your brain is going to go to. You know, I think, again, what Draymond was able to do is break it down in the layman's terms and communicate it in a way where people could say, well, dang, you know, I'm going through that now at my workplace, or I went through that before at a former workplace, especially if you are a person of color. Black folks, you know, we often have to work in conditions that are some oppressive, especially when we transition right out of high school. Even if you go into higher academia, a lot of us tend to take some level of a demoralizing, you know, factory retail job that, you know, reminds us of how and what it means and feels like to be in the position to be oppressed. So I think it was deep, man. I thought that joint was dope. I thought he hit a lot of great points. I think that I could respect people who might disagree with him, because that's capitalism, right? Like, so if you believe in capitalism, then you would think that as the employer, you don't have the same rights as me.
Right.
Right. I don't have to. You work for me. I don't work for you. So you have to do what I say. And no, we are not equals in the midst of this. And I think that's reflective of bigger problems that we have in our country, especially problems that we've seen exacerbated by the pandemic. So I loved it. I thought it was great, man. I mean, that's why we love sports, because sports is sports. But, you know, sports is its own, you know, culture, right? Like those of us who are a part of, not just the basketball community, but the sports community in general, which breaks down into silos based on the culture of the sport that you love. We recognize that, often the parallels between sports and real life are a part of everyday life. And these are conversations that we have often. I'm glad Draymond did what he did. I'm glad he sounded off the way he did, because it's important. Yep. I think it was great.
Oh, yeah.
And the last thing, it speaks to him setting up his platform for life after basketball.
Because he's genuine. And I think that we're all in agreement with whatever you feel about, like I've been saying, it's a lot of, that's why I wanted to transition to these topics toward the latter end of the show tonight, because I want to talk about off court, because it is still a lot going on. And I think it's a lot of people in their position that are using it to the best of their ability. Like when you're sitting here and you're the common man, like you or I, like everybody's sitting here, and I even have and blessed for my best friend to be the councilman, to be somebody who's in there, who's speaking and having a voice. You see that he's taking the time out on the FoFoFo to talk to us tonight, and he still has that stuff. Like he walks it, he talks it. You know what I'm saying? To almost feel like Draymond is that, or you have at least somebody who has a remnants of that in the league. His peers probably look up to him like, yo, thank you, bro. No matter what you see, when you see that him and LeBron go back and forth, or when you hear about the Draymond flopping, or he don't produce if XYZ not on the court, or if he outside of that, I feel like Draymond is one that really understands his position, really understands his platform, and uses it responsibly, very responsibly. Is he going to take a hit in the name of capitalism for that? Absolutely, probably will. But I think that before even opening his mouth to say the first word, he already understood that. And that's what we respect about him, because like Zeke said, he's kind of bridged. Like if you really digging it and you're not looking at his pockets, he's bridging it. He's bridging it. He's echoing something that, like you said, like if you look at it from an employer standpoint, because capitalism will tell you that the employer doesn't have the same rights that the employee does, like Zeke just said. But that's something that we all, when I wake up tomorrow, I'm probably gonna go in there. I'm going into that same fight. Mike, you going into that same fight. Zeke, you going into that same fight, and happen to have a foot in to where you can say something to have a little bit of change in that. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, we're all in that same fight. So in the same breath that somebody says, "Oh, you're a millionaire. What are you complaining for?" I'm looking at it like, "Thank you, millionaire," and somebody who millions of people are looking at for saying that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because when I say it, it kind of goes on deaf ears sometimes. I don't even want to say that, but I kind of have to do a little bit more to even be heard. Whereas somebody sticking a camera in your face because you just dribbled the basketball around for the last 48 minutes and you getting this off, and you understand that me getting this off means a lot to a lot of different people. So I definitely piggyback off of what you're saying with that, Councilman. Yes.
Okay, it was
the FoFoFo over here. For sure, my man.
It was definitely appreciated
for being that voice in this particular instance, and we'll see how that plays out. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely appreciated it.
Yeah. That's all I had. Mike, do you got anything on the rumor mill for us, man?
I mean, back to Drummond. I mean, I heard it's definitely you got Celtics, I believe, was on the phone with the Cavs like 2 days ago or something about them, which I would hope, I hope they don't get them, because our Sixers don't need that.
We don't need we had that conversation in depth with the whole Harden thing.
Yeah, we don't need that. I also saw Miami could be in the runnings for Blake Griffin.
Right. Oh, another thing that I wanted to say, I'm not putting too much stock in it yet. I want to see the evaluation too, but AD was he did something to that Achilles a couple days ago and will be reevaluated in 2 to 3 weeks. And that's why Blake Griffin is kind of getting spicy in those talks are going out west. You know what I'm saying? So
Lakers, like I think Lakers are right. I think they're really banking on like buyouts. Like if anybody start getting like a Blake Griffin, say Blake gets bought out, or Drummond gets bought out, or something like that. Like I think you're gonna see Lakers like jumping on that like fast. Like, you know what I mean?
Position?
You mean
power forward, another big man?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like if Drummond get bought out today or tomorrow, Lakers, hey, right on LeBron, everybody, right on the phone. Hey, Blake Griffin, right? Because that AD thing, it's definitely. I watched like some doctor, and he was like talking about giving like an injury update on it, and he was saying they were saying like everything looks fine with him, there's no rupture or nothing like that, but supposedly I believe like he's probably pulling on it.
Right.
So it's almost kind of like it sounds like the KD thing a little bit.
Like about this, it sounds eerily similar to KD.
it just sounds like it's bound to happen.
And as somebody who tore both his Achilles at different times, I know it's the sports world likes to use their percentages for whatever reason. They like to use your percentages, but you rupture that thing, you're never going back to 100%. Like, we got to get that clear. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think the Lakers need to do anything. I think they should rest AD for a month. I shut him down for a month. I think they should play more Markieff Morris a little more. Right now they're starting Kuzma and LeBron at the 4. This dude go from playing point guard last year to starting at the 4 this year with Kuzma. But I just think they can make up for it. But Markieff Morris fell out the rotation. He hasn't even been playing.
Right.
So pull Markieff Morris back in the rotation. They start in Kuzma. Continue to play Montrezl Harrell, and I think they're fine. I mean, I think that they're the best team in the league still.
But they built it for years. They're built to last.
And I think that they should just focus on AD being healthy for the playoffs. And as long as he can make a playoff run, they'll be fine. I mean, he's not going to get any regular season accolades this year, right? Right. He's already missed enough games. He won't be the league MVP. He won't be the defensive player of the year. He's already going to be an all-star, probably a starter. If not a starter, definitely, right there after that. I'd shut it down. I don't even think they need to add anything. I would be skeptical if I'm them about adding anything because they got good chemistry and they already too deep. They already got guys like Caruso and like Markieff Morris who deserve minutes, who really don't play that much when everybody's healthy because they upgraded their roster from last year.
Now, do you think though, like, as far as with AD, I mean, like it sounds like it's more serious than probably what it is. So I'm just thinking, you think like his effort, like, you know what I mean? Like, even if you're sitting and nothing happens though, like they don't do anything, it's just like, all right, just chill. And we're gonna make this because they're gonna make the playoffs. They'll make the playoffs without him. If he don't play another game for the regular season, they'll make the playoffs. Yeah. But it's like, do you think that would be enough to help him mentally with what's going on with his Achilles, which sounds like I'm saying, it sounds like it's just on the verge of, hey, any day he could partially tear this. Like that's what it sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, so I mean? if that's how do you, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so how does that get healed?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So whatever it takes to make that heal to get that at 100%, I'd sit him until you get that back to 100%. Can it never get back to 100%? I don't know. I don't know how that works, but I would sit him. There's no reason to sit him. You really don't need him in the regular season. Depending on who you play in the first round of playoffs, you probably really won't even need him then. Again, the Lakers are really deep, and if they sign another player, it could put somebody in a position who's like currently in the rotation where they're not in the rotation. Remember, they got the boy, what's the boy named Tucker, who playing good for them too. That's a part of their rotation now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So even without AD, right, they got to play Caruso, Wesley Matthews, Montrezl Harrell, Markieff Morris, and then the boy Tucker. That's 5 guys coming off the bench who all deserve quality minutes when AD is not playing. When AD is in the lineup, now you're talking about 6 to 7 guys. They can literally go 12 deep. So if AD goes down, your roster was already built for that. Why would you now add somebody else to the roster who's already coming from a space of being disgruntled, right? If you Blake Griffin, he's disgruntled in Detroit, well, you're not going to get many more minutes and be much more of an option in LA. He probably is better off in Miami, right? Yeah. I think that's probably a better option for him. If you're Drummond, I mean, you definitely shouldn't go to LA. They don't need you at all. He should be looking at, as a Sixers fan, I hate to say it, but he should be looking at Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should definitely be looking at staying in the
Boston East. Boston and the Clippers.
I mean, if I'm Blake, I'm not going back to LA.
No Drummond.
The Clippers are thin up front. I agree with that, especially after the recent roster moves that they made. But I don't think LeBron needs AD to be anybody in the West except for maybe the Clippers. I think everybody else he could beat in the West without AD, and I think he really only needs AD for the Sixers and for Brooklyn. I think he could beat everybody in the East without him too. I don't think he could beat the Sixers. I don't think he could beat Brooklyn without AD.
I can.
I mean, you need AD just because of Embiid. Embiid Embiid, if the Lakers trend down and Embiid stays trending up, Embiid is the MVP of the league.
Right.
There's no question, right? You can't if the Lakers finish fourth now because AD gets hurt and the Sixers stay 1 or 2, right? With Utah in first, and who's looking at second right now in the West? Okay, maybe it's the Clippers.
Yeah,
that might be second. That's creeping up for second, right? So if Lakers finish third or fourth, Sixers stay in second, you got to be talking about Embiid as the MVP of the league. And so playing at that level, I think it would be tough, especially with Doc Rivers coaching, for a Lakers team to beat the Sixers without AD.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't bet on it, but
I might actually bet on it.
Everybody else. No, I wouldn't. No, well, I don't bet against Bron. That just doesn't make no sense. It doesn't. But I think that's what I would do. I would shut AD down. Your roster's built to play without him. Montrezl Harrell I'm pretty sure a surprise. I don't think they knew that they was going to get as much as they've been getting from him. And again, I really like Markieff Morris, and I think that playing Bron at the 4 for them and a lot of the guys that they got on the wing, I think that they're just as dangerous. Would be a good pick off of waivers for them? Somebody like JJ Redick. Guy will just play spot minutes here or there. Sit a game or two here or there.
JJ was saying if he had to leave, he wants to go to New York, period. He said it's either Brooklyn or the Knicks. He actually lives out there. So if he was to leave the Pelicans, that's
I gotta see this house because this boy is not trying to let go of that house in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
When he was here, he commuted every day from Brooklyn. He want to go back to Brooklyn. I gotta see this house that he brought.
They said Brooklyn or the Knicks is where he wanted to go, and the Sixers was actually supposed to be in trade talks for either George Hill or DeLon Wright. They're looking for a backup point guard.
Great segue. The last point that I got on there, we can get into it. Sixers. Who do we need? What do we need? Do we need anybody?
I think the Sixers have a similar problem as the Lakers because I think we're a little bit too deep. I think we got too many guys who are on the same level, who all deserve minutes, right? So when I look at Forkman, Kuzma, Forkman, whatever Forkman's name is.
Korkmaz,
whatever
his name is.
Yeah. When I look at him, when I look at Maxey, when I look at Shake, Matisse, I think about 4 people who are, depending on who you play or what's going on. I don't know who the right person is to play out of those guys coming off the bench. And then when you add the fact that Curry, post his COVID positive test, hasn't been as consistent as he was before, and Danny Green is shaky too, I would package together at least 2 out of the 6 of those guys and try to just upgrade the wing position. Maybe if I could package 2 in a pick, right? Any 2, right? You got Curry. I would prefer to keep Curry, honestly, if I could pick one.
Yeah,
but
you gotta be
Curry.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, these are all the guys
you
got Curry, you got Green, you got Forkman, Matisse, you got Maxey. I just missed somebody. Shake. And then you got the young boy too, Isaiah Joe, who actually shoots the ball pretty well. Who's, so like you see what I'm saying? Like I would get rid of 2 or 3 and cut that down to about 5
all of
or
that
4.
in one person in return.
Yeah, and just kind of upgrade that. And if I could add, if that person could be
right. That's what I've been. Listen,
yeah,
that's what I've been telling people. Like, and when you throw the names like Bradley Beal, when you throw the names like Zach LaVine out there.
Yeah.
When you think about that return, because you're looking at the team now, and you say, number one, you think chemistry. I mean, I play basketball, I play sports. You think chemistry. You kind of like the feel of what's going on right now. So first and foremost, you don't want to mess that up with trying to figure something out in the middle of the season. You kind of want a seamless transition. You know what I mean? You kind of want you want somebody who, and that's why. And I'm not trying to bring it up to go down that hole again, but that's why we were saying we didn't want Harden because we wanted to. We know his generation and we know who he is, but you kind of want a seamless transition if you have to transition. You see what I'm saying? Number 2 is we like the development of Shake. We like the potential of Maxey. We like a lot of the pieces. We like the defense of Matisse. We like the shooting, the veteran ability of a Danny Green. You know what I mean? It's something that we like in all of these players that you kind of have a struggle giving up. But like I just said, if when you give up 2 or 3 of those guys, if you can get all of those things back in one player, which when you talk about the likes of a Bradley Beal, when you talk about the likes of a Zach LaVine, I truly believe you can get all of that back in the one player. You got to do it, and I think it makes you make your team better for it, because come playoff time, when the roster gets dwindled and you go to war with your soldiers, it even makes that decision a lot more easier than trying to find minutes for 6 guys, and then you took 3 of them away and put them in one. Now you got this one guy, and you rotating them 3 off the bench to get like your 8-9 that you're gonna roll with in war. You know what I'm saying? If for those basketball people out there who just understood my math, you know what I mean? Like,
Got you. I would
in the
love.
regular season, you go about 10 deep if you can, but if you can subtract about 3 of that, you know what I'm saying, and put that in one person, and then you can roll with a nice little 8, maybe 9 if you're lucky. If you're the 2015, 2016, 2017 Warriors, you know what I mean?
Zach LaVine would definitely, like, I think he would complete us. Like Zach, same thing Councilman said, we upgrade. I definitely think we need that shot creator wing play, like that 2, especially more specifically like the 2-guard position. Like if we could really have, like, like we saying,
our struggle is coming late in close games, is what I see, and even in games where we end up winning, if we're not winning handily, when Ben goes down, we kind of don't have another playmaker, and Shake is dealing with injury. We need a playmaker that makes you feel good when Ben Simmons has to get a breather.
Yeah, and it also looks like the Maxey wave is like starting to go down.
Because we realized that he had a crazy wave. It was like he was running off adrenaline, draft night, all that cool stuff, and now we realize this is the thing that is big D word, pause, but development.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it looked like Doc honestly came down off his wave though.
Well, because it's the log jam issue, because early in the year we were playing Mike Scott and Maxey, and we weren't playing Matisse, and Forkman was injured.
Right.
So it's the log jam issue. As people come back from injury, I don't know why not play Matisse, but I could see the things that Matisse bring to the table. You really see more in games than probably at practice, right? He's not the most prolific scorer, but what he does on the defensive end, those intangibles are borderline irreplaceable. So it's the logjam issue, and now Maxey is just suffering from inconsistent minutes. Whereas though earlier this season he might have got 12 or 18 minutes in a game, now that drank down to 3,
right,
6. You know what I'm saying? Couple DNPs. So it's just hard for him to be consistent. On top of the fact that he already doesn't really shoot the 3 well, which is something that you really need to be able to do if you want to get on the floor with Embiid and Ben Simmons.
It would be something to see him if they was to actually, like I said, they in talks for DeLon or George Hill. But if he was to actually get moved now, and I know he was involved in that piece for Harden, I would kind of be like, oh, what we doing? I'll be back down that road again. Like, what we doing? Right. I could have had Harden.
So the close. I'll say this,
Mike. I'm gonna say this, Tony. To close out real quick, just for the record, I don't think we never had a chance to get Harden.
You know why I say I do. Real quick, Tone. I do.
No.
Because I do know about, like they said, the relationship thing with Maury, the owner, and things like that. But we sent an offer that they didn't want. They sent us back one that involved, it was Ben Maxey and the 3 picks. We said,
I'm not doing that. I remember that deal.
We said no.
Well, based on what they traded him for, we could have gave them something better than that without giving them Ben Maxey and 3 picks. You asked us to mortgage our future for Harden, which I don't think is a fair request when you didn't ask other teams to mortgage their future for Harden.
And I think that might have stopped negotiations altogether. We might not even.
Yeah, it's just not fair. You can't ask me for 2 stud point guards, right? Like one that's a rookie that should have went way higher, who already playing good. Then you ask me for Ben Simmons and 3 first-round picks. That's crazy. Right. Y'all didn't even get robbery that in the final deal. Like when it's all said and done, y'all ended up getting Oladipo, somebody else light, and a few picks here and there that's scattered from multiple teams.
Right.
I don't think that's fair to ask us to mortgage everything for James Harden when you didn't ask other teams to do that. And that was just, again, them, I think, trying to really get one over on Daryl Morley. And I think that was personal with him more than about the Sixers organization.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
So I will say this, man. This time last year, I was saying that we needed an identity. What is our identity? We don't know what we're doing. We have a clear identity now. It's 3-and-D, and it's 3-and-D off of Embiid. We're dumping that ball in the Embiid. We're imposing our will. We're imposing our game. If we can't get it at the basket with the big fella, then we're going to bomb you out until you jump out here. Then we're going to toss it back down to the big fella and get you there again. Yep. You know what I mean? And when you have an identity, I think that early you got to figure out how to use that. Now, Maxey, and I say all that to say Maxey and these guys are not getting those minutes because Doc is using his foresight. Doc is already looking at first round of the playoffs. He's already looking at how is our strategy going to be in 7-game series? Who's going to be here who's going to be my guys? And when you're doing that, when you're not trying to figure out night to night who's even coming to play and who's showing effort, when all that is figured out, I think it's more geared toward that 7-game series game. Look at how we play. It's games that we go down double digits and we fight back. Like I think that Doc is he's cultivating that. We've seen in this very short season, and when you talk about these championship teams, we talk about these playoff teams and teams that go deep. We've seen to already checked off our list what I like to call the ways of winning. When you win in the playoffs, it's multiple ways you're going to win, and you have to be experienced. You have to be tried and true. You have to be battle tested and all. You have to be able to bust some ass, win by 20. You got to be able to win a dog fight. You got to be able to come back. You got to be able to win the game that the refs just seem to not have it in the stars for you to win. And I think that we're seeing a lot of these variations of games, and we're building a lot of character, which is another big thing when you're having these playoff runs. And we're learning how to play in a moment. Some moments are better than others for us. So I know, Mike, me and you are in the same chat on Facebook. A lot of times I can't articulate these things the way that I want to through text, but that's what I'm trying to say is that when you're looking at this thing in totality, like I often do, that's the one thing. It's like we are not spinning our wheels on a hamster wheel. Well, who's playing tonight, guys? Let's see what the 7 is. Let's see what the 8 is. That's what we were dealing with. Well, how do we do it? Are we 3-point shooting? Well, tonight we won it with 3-point shooting. Tonight we won it with scrappiness. Nah. We got what do they call it? The shield. We got things that we hang our hat on. We hang our hat on Embiid. We hang our hat on our defense. Confidently. We hang our hat on our shooting a certain way. Everybody shooting is a thing in this league, but it's a lot of ways you can get it done. You could be Stephen Clay and just bomb it from anywhere and not look after the bitch leave your hands. You know what I'm saying? Or you could toss it down to your big man and have excellent ball handling, which the Warriors also do. You know what I'm saying? Even though the media might not put it on that, but you know what I mean? It's certain things that I see how Doc handles us. It's certain nights. No night is the same. And I like that. I like that we're not playing scripted basketball. I like that he's not saying, okay, it's 2 minutes left in the third. Does he have remnants of it? Yeah, but he's not hanging his hat on that. If somebody's rolling, he's gonna say, "Hang back, stay close." What the coach to take? What coach to take? Coach Zeke, sit next to me. I thought I was gonna put you, but just hang tight right here. We all coach, we did it. Hang tight right here. Don't go far, but I want to see what this guy's doing out there. Doc does that a lot, and I like that a lot. You know what I mean? Because Doc's coaching is real time. It's game to game. It's minute to minute. I like that. He's thinking. He's ever thinking.
Which is coaching. Yeah. That's coaching.
That's what I'll close with. That's what I see. That's what I enjoy, and that's what I want to see more of, man. So I'll let y'all get y'all closing words. I'll let y'all last things. I'll put my plugs in, and we can wrap it up tonight.
Yeah, that's coaching.
Man, my final plug always is follow me on social media. Sorry for the little interruption right there. I'm actually on my son's iPad. He has ESPN alerts.
They know what this is, baby. This right here, baby.
He get the alerts. So follow me on social media. Kennedy Thomas on Twitter. Isaiah Thomas on Facebook. I'm always tweeting about the Sixers. I'll be sharing the FoFoFo podcast. I always do. I love sports talk. I try to make appearances on sports stations across the city. 97.5 The Fanatic. Of course, the FoFoFo podcast, and anywhere else I could talk Sixers talk. So please, always willing to engage and talk Sixers and Philly sports in general.
215 Mike, go ahead, man.
215 Mike, follow me at 215 Mike. Detour is the brand. Dreams evolve to reality.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, shout out to the FoFoFo podcast.
We see you, Deuce. We see you, Deuce. Deuce basketball journey. We on it, man. We on it, baby.
At Deuce basketball journey, and I plan to be on it a lot more, man. And go Sixers.
Right. I need a t-shirt, man. I got my rubber band. I need a t-shirt.
Hey, look, I got rubber bands. We got it all, man. Rubber bands. Right. I'll put some more orders in. I'll take care of you, man.
Right. You already know, man, it's Uptown Tone. I do want to take some time to put some light on my man brand, my man Zane Ox. This can't be me, won't be us, man. Check him out on Instagram.
That's Ox. That's Ox.
This Ox right here, man. At CBW. What is it? Won't be WBU. You know what I'm saying? Check it out on Instagram. My man got real quality stuff. You already know me, man. Check me out. FoFoFo podcast on Instagram. COVID Chronicles on Instagram. 215 Mike. Isaiah, I appreciate y'all. Councilman, you keep doing. Hey, Councilman, they said what's up with the trash, man. They told me to press you, man. They said what's up with the trash, dog.
Really? Man, that's a surprise. We got gun violence and vaccine distribution issues. They fighting over schools, and y'all asking me about. They actually picked up the trash last week.
You want the Oh my God! Are you okay? Boy.
Let me put salt down. Damn.
Oh yeah, they're doing this. Captain, can you put this one out there? Got it.